All right, guys, second to last video, and this one is known as completing the square. Suppose you have a quadratic trinomial, ax squared plus bx plus c, and we're setting this quadratic trinomial to 0, which means we have a quadratic equation, and a must be 1. So that means we're dealing with x squared plus bx plus c, which is equal to 0. And it asks you to solve by completing the square. So this is what you're going to do. You're first going to move your constant to the right side by subtracting that value. So on the left side, we have x squared plus bx. I'm going to leave a space right here, and that's going to equal to minus c. And here we go. We're going to use the complete the square formula. The complete the square formula comes in several different versions. Some professors write it as b over 2 squared. Some people write it as negative b over 2 squared. Some people write it as 1/2 b squared. It doesn't matter, in this case at least, because when you square a negative, it comes out as positive. The textbook goes over it using this method, so I'm going to stick to the textbook. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a b squared, well, a b divided by 2 squared to both sides of my equation. So here we're going to put a plus, put that in red actually, b divided by 2 squared on the left side, and whatever you do to the left side, you're going to do to the right side, plus b divided by 2 squared. This right here will create a new constant. So I'm going to call this C1. And on the left side, I can now factor this. And when I factor this, x squared is x times x. And that's going to be positive because everything is theoretically in this case positive. That is going to be b over 2 and b over 2. I'm just showing you the proof behind it. B over 2 times b over 2 is going to be, or excuse me, I should say it again. X plus b over 2 times x plus b over 2 is x plus b over 2 squared. That's going to equal to C1. And this is great because now when we complete the square, we are in a square root property type of question. I can apply the square root to both sides and then continue to solve for x. So what we're going to do is, in this video, we're going to actually complete the square for 2 types of questions. Let's scroll up to the top. And we're going to do questions 7 and 8. 7 says, fill in the blank with a number to make the expression a perfect square. In order to do that, we're going to use the formula b divided by 2 squared. Now, the b value in this case is going to be 10. And remember, you must make sure the number in front of your squared term is 1, which is the case. So to complete the square, that is going to be 10. 10 is B. So 10 divided by 2 squared. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So therefore, we can plug our 25 into here. This will be V squared plus 10V plus 25. There you go. Now, on a side note, if I was to factor this, this will factor into V plus 5 times V plus 5. V squared gives me V and V. Two numbers that multiply to 25 and add to 10, positive 5 and positive 5. And because we're multiplying the same thing, the same base, we can add the exponents, V plus 5 squared. But once again, this is the answer right here. Moving on to question number 8. It says, solve the quadratic equation by completing the square. It says x squared plus 12x plus 30 equals to 0. First, choose the appropriate form and fill in the blanks with the correct numbers. Then solve the equation. If there's more than one solution, separate with commas. All right. Step number 1, when you want to complete the square. Move the constant to the other side. This is plus 30. Move it on the right side. It becomes minus 30. And once again, we can already see the fill that we're going to use. We're going to use the top one because this here is positive, but let's just prove it. Now we want to complete the square by using the complete the square formula. And our B term in this case is 12. So that's going to be 12 divided by 2. Because it's B divided by 2 squared. That's going to be 6 squared. That's going to be 36. So keep that in mind. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a space right here. So equals, put my negative 30 back over here. Now that we have our 36, we're going to add a 36 right here. But whatever you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side. So add a 36 on the right side. And now we're going to factor. When we factor x squared plus 12x plus 36, that is going to factor to x plus 6 times x plus 6. Or you can say x plus 6 being squared. Negative 30 plus 36 is positive 6. So once again, we have our fill. We can put a positive 6 in here, and it's also equals to 6. To get x by itself, we want to apply the square root to both sides. The power simplifies with the root. X plus 6 equals 2. Put your plus or minus down immediately. And the square root of 6 cannot be simplified any further. So we're going to leave it as the square root of 6. And then to get x by itself, subtract both sides by 6. X equals to -6 plus or minus the square root of 6. So therefore, our two solutions for x, it is going to be -6 minus square root of 6, -6 plus square root of 6, because I broke that up into two different pieces. And that is it for completing the square. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.